Where words fail, music speaks. A famous quote by Hans Christian Andersen, and so apt for today's show because we are taking you on a musical journey, exploring the world of jazz through the eyes of South Africa's young and gifted jazz artist Yonela Mnana. Hello and welcome to the show. I am Bule Mulebati. The 35 years old Yonela Mnana is not defined by his inability to see. He views the world from a different and unique standpoint, and for that his music is simply a masterpiece. Here is his story.
Here's a story that will take us beyond the world of the sighted. It takes us to the other side of the light. It's a story of life and love, a story of sound over silence and of hope over fear. All of this articulated through his music, his voice and piano. Meet Yonela Mnana.
Hi, I'm Yonela. I play piano. I'm blind. I grew up in many places, I think. I grew up in a hospital initially, in Haramkwa, because they were trying to figure out the whole issue about the sight. So, but otherwise my home was in Mamelodi. It's my grandmother's house.
Spending most of his childhood in and out of hospitals, he explains what the doctors said could be the reason he was born blind.
I think partly, of course, there's that hereditary thing. They call it congenital glaucoma. And there was ptosis because in time, the eyelids also closed together. So yeah, it was one of those things. It was just that. I think it's just an inherited disease in a way. And I think what happened is the channel to the retina, which is the mind, that interprets what the eye is supposed to be saying, wasn't actually functional at all.
His blindness created some form of confusion, making the situation hard for those around him, but his mother remained strong.
I know more churches than anybody else. I've gone to many prayer sessions than anybody. I was saying, up until the age of 17, my mother has been having, countless amount of advices and whatever for prayer.
And from a very young age, he attended schools that catered for his needs.
The school was made for blind students, but it doesn't mean it wasn't difficult. It was actually, comparatively, it was quite safe. It was a safer environment where everybody was the same.
Whilst at that school, he met a teacher who ignited this deep passion he now has for music, and that was the genesis of Yonela the musician.
We used to call him Say at that time, Siami, who actually was teaching us the extramural music education. So I suppose, he's the one that actually ignited the whole passion to music. He gave me the application to Samro because he was reading an article that was saying that the big dudes, which was the band that was playing with Brenda Fassie, had actually benefited from Samro, and I'd wanted to go to vets because everybody had always studied at the university, which was Teflo University at that time, and I didn't want to do that, so I wanted to go to vets. I had an understanding of its prestige, which was actually proved right.
After the break, we learn more about Yonela's skill and his experience in tertiary while pursuing a degree in music.
free beer, please.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, but make it a castle free.
Castle free. 0% alcohol. 100% Castle.
Do you have a funeral policy?
Making someone's dreams come true is not always as simple as saying yes. But Avbob's cashback funeral plan not only provides funeral insurance for your family, but also helps you to say yes to life's little extras. Because for every 5 claim-free years, you'll get an entire year's premiums based on your monthly premium value, paid back in cash. SMS Duduza to 41790 and we'll call you. Avbob, we're here for you.
If you want Avbob to contact you, SMS Duduza and your name to 41790.
Welcome back to the show. Let's continue with the story of Yonela Mnana. In this next insert, Yonela talks about the importance of studying music and how that has shaped him into the artist he is today. Take a look.
After completing his matric year, the passion for music grew even stronger, and this was when he decided to study towards a career in music.
I was not necessarily absorbed into the music department immediately. We wouldn't use it. I mean, I had to actually struggle to come here and to find out what I'm still in the waiting list. My department, and the music department was actually the one that was most reluctant. For obvious reasons, I suppose from their part, because they'd never taught anybody that is blind. They had to kind of devise new ways. So I ended up having to do a BCom for that year. I used to attend one of the campus. I now realized I went there because I liked the music that time. And there was a guy that performed there, Batu Bohan, and I went to him because he told me, Batu, when's the music? You know that thing? Then he introduced me to another guy that was doing masters, and the guy kind of like encouraged me to go back and see.
Through the guidance of different lecturers, he managed to absorb diversity, and Mleti was one of the lecturers who unlocked many things within Yonela.
Towards my 4th year, because then I knew, okay, I wanted to graduate in practicals, because one of my options, you can do your, as a music business, whatever, you can be a composer, or you can think. So I wanted. Then that was when I got to get Umneti. So unfortunately, I had like a few months between me and him, and he was recommended to me by another mentor of mine, Uchimi Mkwani, who is actually in America right now. And it was amazing because he had a lot of facility, man. He was incredible. So he actually unlocked a lot of things from me, you know.
In 2 months, I could see an improvement, you know. And the worst thing to teach Yonela, because he cannot read music, and it's part of the curriculum to read music at Vets University. You have to read music. Now, how do you teach a guy that is blind? Eh? How do you teach him? So I have to recite everything. When it comes to fingering, he has to put his right hand and the left hand to show him the voicings, to show him improvisation. So basically when I'm playing, also his hand, we do it slowly. And he had some kind of a dictaphone and a phone. You know the phone whereby you can tape somebody and then you can go home, work out the phrases slowly, because I would play them slowly for him. You know, and I would say, okay, when you get home, pick up the speed. So it was not an easy journey, you know. To teach a blind man, he has to touch me all the time. He has to touch me. He has to touch me. Figure out what I'm doing, you know. Like I said, the fingering, you know. Because, you know, if I would play something, even if I play it slowly, but he won't get the proper dexterity because he has not actually touched me. So that was a spiritual journey. It was not just education.
Given the task of teaching a blind man to play piano, how exactly did he manage, especially when it came to reading the music?
If it came to maybe a mini classical piece or a minuet, I would actually play it for him practically, and I would tap the rhythms for him, and I would explain, because he had studied through somebody else before, you know, so I came in later. So I would have to explain, and he would figure it out because it's got this special mechanism. And I would explain to him the rhythms, how he has to play. For instance, it's da 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 para da 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 paria da da da. And I would explain the rhythms. No, I just played 16 notes.
So.
Just like any other person, he also had his fair share of bad days and bad times, which made him want to give up, but he didn't.
At VET, there's a class where they criticize you. And what was I playing? But I remember there was a song. What song was it? There was a Kenny Barron song. Huh? No, I'm lying. I even forgot that. So I think there was something I wasn't doing quite right at the time. So the criticism, I just felt in the morning, I just didn't want to get up.
Yonela was not given special treatment. He completed within the duration required. And what's more interesting is that he is now passing on his music knowledge to other kids, where he teaches music at a school for special needs.
I teach. I got that job when, I think hardly a month when I finished school, you know. I've always maintained, if we make sure that we keep our work outstanding enough, it'll make sure that it gets us employment. Okay. We don't really have to overexpand ourselves to do.
As a blind man, how does he teach?
Teaching is just a communication thing, isn't it? I'm talking to you now, so if I can talk to you and you understand and explain to you, then that's teaching. Unless if you're talking about conventional teaching, which is colonial by nature, then it's something else. I mean, okay, I'll tell you right away that I don't have to use a blackboard because I don't know how helpful it was for the other people, you know? So, you know, I don't teach that way. And anyway, fortunately with music is generally, well, when we talk about piano, it's a one-on-one experience. And anyway, the great beauty about music is the fact that sound is the ultimate, so we can always talk about it.
Time now for another ad break. We are back with more on this story. Stay with us.
The Law Society has slammed notices sent to 4 universities to jack up standards or risk losing their LLB courses. The Council on Higher Education issued a stern warning to the universities to conform within 6 months.
I think it will affect the university. I think outside the law faculty, there's a funding issue.
It's been 112 years since Enoch Sontonga died as a relatively unknown composer, choir master and teacher. But today his legacy lives on through his greatest composition, Nkosi Sikeleli Afrika.
For all your news updates, stay tuned to Your World from Monday to Sunday.
It is 5 p.m. Central African Time, broadcasting live from Johannesburg. This is PM News. Mugabe is wanted in South Africa on a charge of assault with intent to do grievous bodily harm. Mugabe allegedly assaulted local model Gabriela Engels with an extension cord.
If the minister has granted the First Lady diplomatic immunity, then it then means that she will not be prosecuted.
There will now be 16 countries that form part of SADC. The Comoros was added as a member state during this summit. New Zealand rugby great Sir Colin Meads has passed away at the age of 81 following the battle with the pancreatic cancer. In 1999, Meads was named New Zealand's greatest rugby player of the 20th century. This year, a bronze statue of Meads was unveiled in his hometown of Te Kuti.
Stay tuned to PM News for all your news updates every Saturday and Sunday from 1500 hours.
Welcome back to the show with me, Pule Mulebati. Many compare him to Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles, but Yonela Mnana's sound is distinctly South African. He has a debut album called Baba. He shares all of that and more on this next insert.
Yonela's geographical traversals privileged him with a rich soundscape including African and Western choral styles, Kwaito, R&B, soul, popular music and traditional music. He has since played with renowned musicians, including some of the top jazz masters.
I've played with quite a number of people, more especially in the jazz field. I worked with, I had a good fortune of meeting also Brazil Mwawan like in 2006. I worked with Brafea as well, Brafea Falco. That's man, Prince Lewasa. We just had a thing now with the students that we're working with they were doing a thing with Swangile Kumalo as well. Actually Duduzo, who's actually one of the forerunners now of South African jazz piano here in South Africa. It gave me a gig with Siporaz.
He continually navigates through the Johannesburg, Cape Town and Durban jazz club circuit with fellow musicians and friends.
Well, I met Yonela at CJC, Central Johannesburg College, where I was studying, and Yonela, they had came through for the workshop with Bob Baldwin, and it was the Joy of Jazz workshop.
So I mean, basically, not we were getting bored much. You know, sometimes because Americans, African Americans are the ones that have really tried to innovate a lot in terms of the jazz genre.
The guys from America, they asked us, what do you want to play? I said, we want to play Mpaqanga, you know, because they were playing jazz, obviously, and I mean, from school they told us, hey, I'm American, don't play jazz in front of them, they know it. So I said, we're going to play Mpatanga. So Yonela got bored, man. He said, no, man, why you want to play Mpatanga? Let's just play the thing now.
And at that time, the drummer was really off the hook. And that was Piwe. From that time on, then he came, turned out that he stays close to Katlehong, which is Leonte. So he came to my house after. Then I had to share with him a John code, some CDs that I had.
Spiwe explains his experience playing with Yonela.
I learned that when we close our eyes, we listen with our hearts. And I learned that when we listen to our hearts, it's the most sensitive, our heart is carrying sensitive ears, So I learned to play like, I would be like, there's a guy that we play with, this Lex Fuchani. He would actually call me to order all the time. Hey, open your eyes, man. When we're changing, because I'm used to playing with Yonela, with other people, and I just close my eyes because I just listen with my heart when I'm playing with him.
Yonela looks up to many musicians, but a few stand out.
We love rapping Mselegu. We're writing about him all the time. I love Keith Jarrett. There's lots of work, man, that he really did. I like African Kize because he reminds me of a lot of other people. He's kind of like, I can hear that, he listens to George Duke and whatever, and he taught me a lot of things. And also he helped produce my first album as well. And we've got a very, 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 personal relationship going on. And I like my compatriots, man.
He now has a debut album titled Baba, and this is the inspiration behind the album.
I'd gone under a very strange personal trauma. So I really was feeling down, and I was surprised. Once again, Duduza was calling me and was offering me to work with Themba Mkhize, who was someone that I actually looked up to when I was young, because they used to do those sessions like the Market Theatre album with Swinging the Kumalo. So, and he was saying that we're going to work with Themba. And I was quite ecstatic. I think that was around 2011, at the end of 2011. So Themba Mkhize allowed us into his space and we worked together. I remember there was Lindy Wemakola as well. There was Tepo. It was a big band. And I came in to do some of Donny Hathaway's, songs. I think we're doing that on. Remember that? That song. If I ever leave you, baby. What I could say is that I'm glad that I have the muscles to be able to try and cope with what I do. Obviously, I'd want to be able to see if I'm faced with a lot of physical and logistical problems in terms of crossing the road and seeing the sunshine or the stars or an expression. I'd like to do those things. But I'm glad also that I'm not really deterred by visual exercises in terms of seeing things that are really disturbing.
Yonela, keep doing what you're doing, my brother, and do it right, and keep on teaching other people what you have. Let's enable other people to see with their hearts and to hear with their hearts.
He shared some of his dreams and plans for the future.
I want to see myself still staying to the same inspiration that is still pushing me now. I want to still keep on playing and I want to keep on teaching. At least if I'm able to make all these things inside, zibe more effective. And also I want to be able to live comfortably as well. I'd like to have an institution that studies, was develop an African music curriculum, an institution of reference. One of the other desires is to be able to have a skill and an ability that would turn up music that speaks to those social ills as well.
And those dreams and plans are possible because you've shown us your passion for learning and passion for playing. Your story is a constant reminder that the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. You have taught us to listen and see with our hearts. And for that, Bophelong salutes you.
Well, on that melodic note, we end our show for today. We wish Yonela all the best in his music career. His story is a constant reminder that nothing is impossible when you set your mind to it. Until next time, it's a goodbye from us here on the show.